And now here's your host, Duza Colbert.
Yeah, welcome to the Late Show. Welcome in here, out there, and to all the ships at sea. I'm your host, Duza Colbert. Happy Tuesday, Lewis.
Happy Tuesday.
Folks, if you watched The Late Show with Stephen Colbert regularly, and I hope you have, then you'll recognize the setup to this next bit, because even though I'm new at the hosting gig, and this is a new desk for The Late Show, and The Late Show has been taken over by the sanctuary nation of Canada, as regular viewers know, the host of The Late Show normally stands right over there each night presenting a bespoke and well-honed monologue, weaving analogy and metaphor into a playful pirouette retelling of the day's news. But sometimes, folks, just sometimes, the host will dumpster dive into the deep end of fringe media, foraging around for ridiculous fluff, if for no other reason than to call out the tripe that is often presented as information in our continuing segment you might remember is called
Meanwhile.
Yeah, Jimmy, you can't cancel the cure-all for the nation, and you can't deny it to a starving nation. That's all I'm saying. IP or not. Meanwhile, an intriguing new study recently published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology suggests that conversations about topics people think are boring typically wind up being enjoyable. Participants were paired up to have conversations. In some cases, one person thought the topic was interesting and the other did not. In others, both believed the topic was boring before entering into it. What they found was that the participants underestimated how much fun it was to talk about something boring. They have no personality. Meanwhile, 7 shipping containers used in support of a research station have been spotted on an iceberg floating off the coast of Antarctica. The containers had originally been positioned on the ice shelf for storage before a week-long blizzard caused a large section of the shelf to break off and float out into the sea. Yeah, are these really from a research station, or are they actually proof that Trump's 10% tariffs against that island with just penguins on it, you know, the Heard and McDonald Islands, were actually justified because of their illicit iceberg shipping operation? Meanwhile, despite being on a 180-day probation for a guilty plea of misdemeanor battery in Indiana, competitive eater Joey Jaws Chestnut, the reigning champion and 17-time winner of Nathan's famous international hot dog eating contest, has been granted permission to travel outside of Indiana so he can defend his title at Coney Island, New York on the 4th of July. Chestnut was accused of slapping a man on the face during a drunken night out in an Indiana bar. His lawyer has said he entered the plea of guilty because he wanted to accept responsibility for his actions. Allegedly, Joey's stomach was heard shouting, "Hey, he's been assaulting me for decades and they're arresting him for just slapping a dude?" Ugh. Meanwhile, usually bathroom breaks at the French Open are only permitted between sets. However, French player Arthur Guia ran off the court for an emergency toilet stop early in the first set of his French Open debut after telling the chair umpire in French, quote, "I can't move anymore. I'm going to go on the court," end quote, before hastily running off. The extra break didn't help him, though, with his opponent, Karen Kachnikov, whatever, beating him 6-3, 7-6, 3 on the tiebreak, 6-0. Well, at least now we know why the French Open is the only Grand Slam using clay courts. Next up, I finally get a face-to-face with President Epstein himself, Donald Genius Trump. And later still, another great musical offering with more special musical guests. And remember, there's a new Late Show segment premiering at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Thursdays each week. And the full week's offering, reposted in a digest format every Saturday. Is it okay if I just sit down here for a minute? You know, I'm usually behind the desk. This whole standing up business. Ugh.